The island of Kauai is not a very big island. It's approximately 25 by 33 miles. It is the fourth largest of the 8 major islands that the world is familiar with. This is the oldest island, though, of the 8 major islands. The oldest part of this island is the Waimea Canyon, where we will be headed for, approximately 5.5 million years old. Not very old as compared to the rest of the world. Hawaii is one of the last places on Earth that was inhabited by mankind. And the Polynesians arrived between 400 and 600 AD. Apparently they came from the Marquesas initially, after that from the Society Islands. And this is the Hanalei River Valley we're about to get into. Bright colored trees we have on the floor of the valley is our state tree, the kukui nut tree or candle nut. Now every part of the kukui nut tree was used by the ancient Hawaiians, the bark for tapa, the trunk for making canoes. The kernel is edible, it's very oily. The oil was used in lamps in the past. The bracelets and lace are made from the shell. Still can be found in gift shops, labeled the kukui nut lei or bracelet. The Hanalei Valley is one of the 7 major rivers and valleys on the island that leads to Mount Waialeale. At the very end, to the right where the clouds are, is Mount Waialeale. It's one of the world's wettest points. In 1982, they recorded over 640 inches of rainfall on top of the summit of Waialeale. It was a record year for Waialeale. We'll be leaving Hanalei Valley, crossing over the ridge. It's going to put us in the Kauai district. That side is where we have an opening that leads into the crater, the Waialeale crater. The rim of the crater had a spiritual significance to the Hawaiians. The ancient Hawaiians erected the most sacred temple on the island on the rim of Waialeale. The temple was built to a god called Kani. 4 major gods. There were Kani, Lono, and a god called Ku Kaliamoko. Kamehameha's war god. Ku for short. Quite a few demigods below the 4 major ones known as family gods, Amakulas. We're still at the base of Waialeale. We're on the north side of it. You know, the rim of Waialeale they still have the altar where the dead are worshiping. The name of the altar is Ka'avako. It's a 5-foot by 7-foot slab, 2 feet high. At those times, they did human sacrifices under the tapu system that governed their way of living. The tapu system was rid of by Queen Kahumanu, one of the wives of the great King Kamehameha. By then, he had passed on and she was converted by the missionaries. Queen Kahumanu is one of the most powerful queens in Hawaiian history. And this is the crater. Remember, the rim is 5,200 feet above sea level in a few inches, and we're at approximately 2,500 feet. Let's see, from here you can see the silhouette of the sleeping giant. If you look at the mountain on the left front, at the center, the apex of the forehead of the giant left of center, its chin, arm on its chest, belly, lower lip, its knees and foot. It's kind of lying on his back. They do have public trails. The shorter trail would take half an hour to get to the top of the forehead. The longer trail, about an hour. This is the Lumahai Basin, this flat area off to the left side. It's the youngest part of the island, 1.5 million years in age-wise, formed during the Kilauea volcanic series that ended 3.5 million years ago. The town of Lumahai is along the coast, left side, the main city for the island, where the county seat is at. They got the airport over there, the shipping center for the island. Now Willie Boat Harbor is also there. As far as you can see where the ocean is at is the south side of the island. That's the opposite side from the side we just departed from. That is where Poipu is located along the coastline. Poipu is another designated resort area on the island. That is where the Hyatt Regency, Keahuna, the Sheraton, Waiuhai, and they have other hotels under construction at this time. This flat area between the two mountains here, two hills, is called the Knutson Gap, named after the Knutson family that goes way back into history. But the main highway that goes to each end of the island, we don't have a road that goes completely around Kauai. But the main road that goes to each end of the island goes right across the gap to the other side of the mountain we're approaching and continues to Waimea Town. Once you get in Waimea Town, either you go up to the canyon or you go along the coast. If you go along the coast another 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you have to turn around and backtrack. The old town of Kilauea is also on that side of the island, off to the left front. The old town of Kilauea is where the first successful sugar mill in Hawaii was established at in 1835. We only have 2 sugar plantations today existing in the entire state of Hawaii. One is here, one on Maui. There were as many as 5 plantations operating in Kauai, but that's all history. Okay, we're going to get on the downwind side of the mountains here in a few seconds, so there's going to be some turbulence. It's nothing to be concerned about. It's very normal. The town of Kauai on the side of the hill, on the left front, they got a municipal golf course on top of the hill called the Kikuialono Golf Course. It's the 3rd largest town on the island. The dark green fields along the coast is coffee fields. It used to be sugarcane up until 1989. Beyond the coffee fields is Port Allen, the other deep draft harbor, and beyond Port Allen is the sugarcane land. All those yellowish, brown, open fields. The only plantation existing on the island, one of 2, in the state of Hawaii. And they already announced they're going to start growing sugarcane. So if you're back on the island a year from now, you're not going to find any sugar on this island. And we're entering the Hana Peppy Valley. In 1992, Steven Spielberg and his crew were on the island filming the original Jurassic Park movie. And Hana Peppy is one of the locations. At the very beginning of the original movie, they showed a helicopter landing in Jurassic Park next to the falls. The falls off the right door is where they did that scene. The name of the falls? Manawaiopuna. And they have other waterfalls besides the Manawaiopuna Falls. And just below us on the right, the Jurassic Park Falls. Gili Falls is the furthest falls that we see up front. As we pass it, there's another set of falls to the immediate right. Far back as you can go would be the base of Waialeale. Well, that clouds. See, all the land from the top of Waialeale, the land you see in front of us, all the way down to the ocean where pointing out the sugar fields, is known as the Makaweli Apua. And Apua is a parcel of land that starts on the top of the mountain down to the ocean in the shape of a pie. This belongs to the Robinson estate. They own 1/4 of the island, 25%. And was bought by Elizabeth Sinclair. She was born in Scotland, 1800. Her maiden name was Meg Hutchison. She was educated in London. Got married to a sea captain, and they ended up living in New Zealand. Her husband passed away in New Zealand, so Elizabeth, her 2 son-in-laws, Gay and Robinson, her daughters, grandchildren, headed for California. They had their own ship. Stopped in Hawaii and they remained here. She arrived in 1863. She was 63 years old when she got here. And she initially purchased an island called Niihau. You see the island on the horizon directly in front of us, the elongated island? That's the island of Niihau. She bought it from Kamehameha V for $10,000. And several years after that, she purchased the Makaweli Apua, the land beneath us, all the way down to the ocean from Victoria Kamumalu, the granddaughter of the great King Kamehameha, for $15,000. What she did is bought stolen land, but that's another story behind that. Basically, it's the spoils of war. Crossing over the Olokili Canyon, this is still the estate of the part of the Makaweli Apua. All the land that Elizabeth purchased on the island today is under her son-in-law's family name, Robinson. So you're going to hear the Robinson's name associated with land ownership. Below Kelly Canyon, we just crossed over, and beneath us is all still part of the Makaweli Apua. Waimea Town, it's on the left side. You can see the river going into the ocean to the right of this stem, the town of Waimea. That is where Captain James Cook made his first landing when he arrived in the islands. Cook arrived in January of 1778, stopped in the town of Waimea for supplies. Initially, when the native Hawaiians spotted Cook's ship on the horizon with its sails, they believe it was the Heiau of Lono. A Heiau is a temple. Lono is one of the four major gods that the ancient Hawaiians worshipped. Being that they've never seen a white man before, they believe that Cook was the god Lono, and they treated him as though he was Lono. Cook returned the following year. He stopped on the Big Island at Kilauea Bay, the Kona side of the Big Island. He got into a conflict with the natives over there, and he was killed. First European navigator to chart the Hawaiian Islands on a map, initially called the islands the Sandwich Islands in honor of the Earl of Sandwich. That was his buddy, very close friend. In the canyon, the Waimea Canyon, the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. We're over the first of three major ventricles. See the Wailai Falls. This is the Wailai ventricle we're over. Might be some goats right here on the side of the hill here on the right, about the level of the aircraft. And we're entering the heart of the canyon. This is the second of three ventricles, Kohei beneath us, and the next one over is Po'omau. The public road that goes along the rim, it's on the left-hand side. The road follows the rim on the left. It ends in the Kauai State Park. That's a wooded area across the canyon here on the right. In the central part of the state park, they've got a restaurant, museum, ranger station open to the public daily, except for the evenings. Certain holidays, it'll be closed. The road is on this rim here in front. This is the Waimea Canyon. All the way up where the clouds are in the forest, that's the Alikai Swamp. The Alikai Swamp is really the water table for the island. It absorbs all the rainfall and distributes the water to the seven major rivers we have on the island. We're going to be leaving the canyon, crossing over the rim where the road is at. That little island you see on the left is Lehua. Nobody lives there. Sands Beach, see the end of the road is not too far from there, the Polihali State Beach Park. From that point, there's no roads or trails. It's sheer cliffs making up the remaining of the coastline. That's a Pacific Missile Range, this white buildings here, the domes. It's a very sensitive area. You need a security clearance to get within that facility. They do a lot of research over there using lasers and satellites to acquire targets. They control the launching of missiles. Some of the platforms are located at Barking Sands Naval Air Base. I need to come around the back of it. At the front of it, the range is hot, and this side of the radar is shielded. We're going to be over the Napali coastline very soon. This would be the jewel of the island of Kauai. There's a lot of history out here, Hawaiian history. Every valley along the Napali coastline at one time was inhabited by the ancient Hawaiians. This first half of the coast, there's no roads or trails. It's sheer cliffs making up the coastline. They do have two state beach parks, though. One is called Miloli, that's a sandy beach below the left side, and the other is called Nua Lolo Kai, which is a reef area off to the right side, where the boats are anchored. The only way to get there is from the ocean. The valley to the immediate right is called Ava Nulolo Aina, Avavapui. Then Honopu is the twin beaches you'll see with the archway separating the two beaches. That is the last of the inaccessible beaches and valleys. Second half of the coast is all public. You can camp anywhere on the second half of the coast, provided you got a permit from the Department of Land and Natural Resources. This first half, the valleys are not available to the public. For the sake of hiking and looking around, it's not allowed. The King Kong movie with Jessica Lange was filmed here. at Honopu. That was in the 70s. They did a movie called 6 Days, 7 Nights with Harrison Ford. This was one of the locations. They do a tremendous amount of movies on this island. Now the second half, as I said, is public. The 11-mile trail on the second half ends at the Kilauea Beach that you'll see off the left side. For the average person, it takes about 10 to 11 hours to get to the end of the trail. It was once the estate of the Robinson family. When the Robinsons controlled Kilauea, they raised cattle in here. They brought the cattle in with boats. Swimming the cattle from the boat to the beach was a very common practice. There were cattle in Kilauea up until 1959. Today, the whole Napali coastline, including Kilauea Valley, it's all state land. Napali coastline was the hiding place for lepers. In 1866, the leper colony was established on the island of Molokai on the north end on a peninsula they call Makanalua. Kala Papa Leper Colony. That's where Father Damon, the Belgian Catholic priest, spent over 16 years of his life helping the lepers, until he himself finally contacted the Hansen disease. There were a few on the island of Kauai that refused to be relocated. This is where they had left. The authorities apprehended all the lepers, except for one individual. His family, the name was Kolau. He and his son died of leprosy on his coast. His wife returned to civilization and remarried. That's the Bali High Ridgeline. Those sharp points, those pinnacles, got its name when they were filming the South Pacific movie in 1959. Now, at the point at the base of it is where the public road ends that comes from the north end of the island. Right side is the trail. You can see the trail on the cliffs off to the right. Kauai Beach is where the public road ends. Trail starts over there. As I make the turn, you'll see Hanalei Beach and the valley, the waterfalls at the back. It's a 2-hour hike to get to the falls, an hour to the beach, hour to the falls. So that's non-stop. It'll take most of the day if you're going to do that. The whales are not here this time of the year. We're going to start seeing the humpback whales about the ending part of October, a few whales. Then they'll progressively increase in numbers to the end of the year. February, the new year, they've all arrived in Hawaii. April, May of each year, they leave the island. They go up to the north end of the world in April and May, near the Alaskan coastline. And the Bering Straits is the feeding grounds for the whales, and all they do is feed all summer up there. And Kauai Beach to the right, that's where the road ends. 2 wet caves at the end of the road. The dry caves would be inland of the bay coming up on the right. That's Hana Beach Park. You see all the automobiles along the road. At the base of it is the dry caves. The reef area is called Tunnels we're approaching. It's a very popular surfing spot for visitors and locals. This is the Hana coastline off the right side. Lumahai Valley, the longest valley on the island. Another valley leads to Waialeale. Then we have Lumahai Beach that we're going to be passing over. Hanalei Bay up front where the sailboats are anchored. Then across the bay is the St. Regis, that white flat roof building. Princeville coastline. Kilauea Lighthouse is as far down the coast where the island's off the point. We're going to cross over Lumahai Beach. According to Hawaiian mythology, the Lumahai Valley is the valley where the Menehune people settled in. Menehunes are a race of miniature Polynesians, 4 to 5 feet in height, highly skilled in the art of stone. They left their landmarks all over the island of Kauai. Taro patches here on the left side look like rice paddies. Did have rice and oranges in 1800s in Hanalei that was exported to California. Today this is all taro. Even inland of Hanalei town, taro. Further back, taro. The island of Kauai produces more than 50% of all the taro used in Hawaii. And Hanalei is where most of that is grown. Princeville Ranch, or the Princeville coastline, was named after Prince Albert. He was the son of King Kamehameha, the 4th and Queen Emma. He died at a very young age, 4 years old, died of smallpox. His mom, Queen Emma, founded the Queen's Medical Center that is still in existence on Oahu in Honolulu. It's one of the major hospitals we have in Hawaii. It was established in 1859 by the Queen. for the people. At that time, she was very concerned about the welfare of her people. There were less than 60,000 Native Hawaiians remaining. The race was becoming extinct. When Cook arrived the first time, they estimated 600 to 800,000 Native Hawaiians. There's two major reasons for the decrease in the population. One of the major ones is the foreign vessels, the whaling industry, merchant vessels arriving from different parts of the world. The various diseases practically wiped out the race. Secondly, Kamehameha the Great and Kaikili was at war in 1790. That had a huge impact on the population. Once again, we're crossing the Hanalei River Valley. Till today, less than 1% of the population in Hawaii are individuals with part Hawaiian. Worldwide, they say about 500,000 individuals with part Hawaiian. The only pure-blooded Hawaiians I'm aware today is on Ni'iha, a little over 200 of them. The valley just immediately up front there is called Kilauea. And if you go downstream of Kilauea to the coastline, that would be Kilauea Bay. Left of that is the Princeville Airport. A closer look at the Kilauea Lighthouse, where the island is off the point. It's the northernmost point of this island and of the 8 major islands. This concludes the flight around the island.